All right, we are good to go. Here we are.
Here we
Streaming.
be.
Here we be. I'm hopeful that my settings are muted because sometimes it starts showing me the video with audio. Why does it
Oh,
do that? It just did it. Anyway, hello, Sam Keenan.
hello, hello.
Sam is the producer of Level with Emily. I host it. I'm Emily. And we are here talking about this week's upcoming episode, which has been a long time coming, really. Just because, I mean, I loved this game so much and I couldn't wait to talk to John Robert Matz about Tchia. Just Tchia. It's just Tchia.
It's not
and
Tchia.
well, there's
There's a T in the Ch.
Tchia.
Yeah,
No, it's just Tchia.
right.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I loved the game. I will say this. I've said this every time. I platinumed that game. And with glee, with absolute glee. There was one enemy I had trouble finding, and that was like the last thing I needed to find. And then I found it, and yeah. No, it's a great game. And so that's what we're going to talk about here in just a minute. We'll hear some of the music. It's fantastic music. And yeah, but just, briefly, Sam Keenan, how you been?
Been doing good. Yep.
Yeah, you've got a busy weekend coming up with some exciting music. Tell me about
I
that.
do.
I want to hear about it.
Well, it's the Twin Cities Jazz Fest this weekend. So
Awesome. Always downtown
are-
St. Paul.
yeah, downtown St. Paul, and it kind of spreads out to some other venues too a little bit, and there's all sorts of local jazz shenanigans going on this
Yeah.
weekend, starting tomorrow, really. And I'm going to be recording some of that stuff
Tomorrow's
and
Thursday.
going to see some of that stuff. And
That's so funny.
yeah.
We will be, because I'll be downtown working. So we'll have to talk about that. Maybe I'll come see you or have lunch with you after work one of those days. But
That could be good. Yep. I'm
yeah.
probably hosting one of the stages, and
Oh, fun. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, that's exciting. Will you be doing interviews? Will you be live on the air?
I
Will you
don't
be-
think I'll be doing interviews, although I'll have some
Okay.
stuff in case I want to. But
Yeah.
I'll be recording some concerts based around more youth performances, because that's
Oh,
what I
cool.
deal with a lot for
Yep.
a
That's
local
awesome.
jazz station here in the Twin Cities.
Yep. 88.5. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
great young players as well. And I think
Yeah.
a lot of that has to do with the many like professional players that we have here too that are just a lot of them are just super into like education and all that stuff. I don't know. It's a good scene. It's a like a little hidden good scene here in the Midwest jazz wise. So
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, there's a lot of
maybe
really
not
amazing.
even so hidden. Yeah. I mean, we've
I,
got the
I don't know how
podcasts
hidden it is. Really, it's hard to tell
Yeah.
when you're
when
from
you live
around
here.
here.
Yeah.
But I know there's a
right.
lot of great connections between players here and all across the world, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm about to start a 5-day stretch of being on the air again, which is, it's great. It is great. It is. I mean that. Like, I do look forward to it, especially the weekday mornings. I really do enjoy
Yeah.
that shift. I don't
Okay.
enjoy getting up at 4 a.m., but I enjoy the shift itself. And so I kind of always look forward to doing it. And so I'll do that tomorrow and Friday, and then my quote unquote normal weekend mornings, Saturday, Sunday, and then one more morning Monday, and then I'll have four days away from the station in a row, which will be really nice. Yeah, it just compresses everything else, right? As
Right.
as days get added, and it's fine. It's good. But anyway, let's talk about what we're here for. None of that boring stuff.
Yeah. What's coming up on this week's level?
John
know, but-
Robert Matz, I know you know, and he's been a guest at least twice, I think. We've talked about Ambition, A Minuet and Power, which we had him on to talk about last year, and that was a really cool project that he did like a lot of classical music for. And I'd have to look off the top of my head. I can't remember what else we've had him on for, but he's been on before and he's great. And this time he is back with a studio where he worked on a game called Fossil Echo, The studio name is called Awaseb, and this game that we're talking about for this conversation is Tchia. We talk about it for like an hour and a half because, I mean, there's so many cool things about the game. I showed it to you. Do you remember much from? Didn't I play
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
You showed it to me and I thought it looked really great.
Oh,
It
that's
looks
right.
really
You love
fun.
the art too. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the art. I just loved what I saw of it. I definitely want to play that one. That seems really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they really revolutionize movement, like how just because Chia's special power is that she can soul jump. This is not a spoiler.
Yeah.
So she can like jump into
Animals.
living objects, but also
Yeah.
inanimate objects like
Mm.
rocks. So that can be really helpful when you're diving and things like that. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can jump into a fish, you can jump into a rock and go underwater. You can also jump into a bird and fly across the island. And one of the coolest parts about it is you can't look at the map and know where you are, really. You'll get a general idea. She'll be like, well, last I remember, because she's 12. So she's like, last I remember I was near this landmark. So you don't exactly, so you either have to get up high to kind of figure out where you're going, and there are other ways that you can know definitively where you are, but fast travel is very limited. And so you're forced into kind of like navigating these beautiful islands that are inspired by the real islands of New Caledonia off the coast of Australia. So just so cool. Not a word of it's in English. It's either in French or indigenous languages of
Mm-hmm.
New Caledonia. New Caledonia French territory. I don't want to get the term wrong,
Sure.
but a lot of people there speak French. And so it's in both languages, which also is cool that it's just literally just subtitled. So they really try to capture the atmosphere. Not only are they creatively, innovative in movement, it's just they're capturing this island vibe and this, I just talked for like 12 minutes straight, and seriously, this
No.
game was such a delight, especially after that crappy winter we had. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like so awesome to just go into that world, and I loved all the diving. So let's music for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll get your thoughts.
Sure.
But here's the little bit of the main theme.
I think you may have muted the music if you just muted yourself.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. God damn it. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. We'll just keep this going. Like, how I just want to meet the person that hates that. You know what I mean? Like, how
Sure,
can you like that is such happy, beautiful yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the music is just great. I was trying to think through other John Robert Matz stuff that I could remember, and I don't know. I think this might be my favorite. Um,
Yeah.
it's really a joyful score, and it's like somehow intimate and big at the same time,
Yeah.
and it's just really everything is just feels really nice, and it's you know sometimes there's big drums and stuff like that, but mostly it's pretty intimate percussion, and it's interesting percussion. It's not the huge, and
Right.
it's very world music feeling, and
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
feels super legit and
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
you
I
know
mean, in typical John Robert style, he definitely studied and studied and studied and learned and learned and learned as much as he could. And we talk about that in the
Yeah.
episode, and we talk about some of the more specific instruments, especially, and how so much of it is plant-based, especially the percussion is plant-based, and just really fun to learn about those instruments. And also, I think one of the things that really helps to make this score capture that intimacy while sounding big is these simple motives, these really simple melodies that a child would sing, right? Because that's Tchia's theme, that da 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 da, that's her theme, and so you hear that all through the whole situation. But it's I think, things like that kind of really help to just, I don't know, it just all works really, really well.
Yes.
Everything about it works so well.
Yes, and the recording and mixing style too, the way the vocalists sound.
Yeah.
It's like you could easily slather like too much reverb or pretty up the sound in a wrong way with a lot of these songs, and instead it just sounds really natural and good,
Yeah. One of my favorites, I was always so excited when this one started, is the music that plays when you swim. And you have to do a lot of diving. If you want to collect all the resources, you do a lot of diving. But otherwise, you can kind of get away with sort of minimal dive. But it's a part of the game. Like, it's part of the culture, like being in the water and doing things underwater. So let me find that track because I can't exactly. Here it is.
What's that one called?
It's called Underwater Reef.
Okay.
And I just had it now. Okay, here we go. That's him playing the flute.
Yeah.
I love how he keeps the breath in there too.
That's really cool. Yep.
Anyway, there are a lot of things that I love about this track. When you think about underwater music, or really water music in general, so much water music is in a triple or a compound meter of some sort, where it's like the Mario water music, which is da 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 da. That's a compound meter. So it's just, and that's one of like so many examples. But this is in 4/4, but it's just still so very soothing and like has this really gentle vibe to it with all this stepwise motion and kind of like this breathing ocean. I just totally dug that, and every time I got to you hear it every time you go underwater, and I just loved it. I could have stayed down there all day.
Yeah, there was one track that I wrote down that also had that airy flute on it.
That's Tchia. Yeah.
Well, there's one called Whaley Town or something like that.
Whaley. Yeah.
I liked that one a lot, kind of Renfesty, and I really liked the sound of the flute on that. Like the way it's recorded brings in that breath, and it really makes it sound human.
Yeah. Let's listen to it. This is Whaley Town. Whaley Town. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just so
So
it's just so
good.
gentle and pretty and nice and
Yeah.
great vibe for sitting and playing a game too. And
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. I'll play you one more track. Well, oh man, I want to do so many, but you just really have to listen to the episode. But here's one
Hmm.
of my other. I'm gonna have to do a search for it. Where is it? If I can't find it, then here it is. This is another village theme. So there's like 5 towns or villages, I think.
Okay.
Maybe there's more. I don't know even where I got that number. But here's one called Tingating Village. And I love this one because it's in 5/4. And it's just a fun 5/4. So this is that one. Yeah. I mean, notice that just the simplicity, right?
Yeah.
Everything is just
Yeah.
so innocently simple, and I love that vibe.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that, it's may seem like that's an easier thing to do,
Oh my God.
but
Yeah.
it's a way harder thing to do
Yeah, it's
because
so hard.
stuff that's that simple, it's hard to make it not sound like stuff like songs you've heard a billion times, and those
Yeah.
melodies are so basic, but they just sound nice and fresh and
Yep.
good, and it
Yeah.
doesn't, it doesn't sound like it's ripped off from somewhere.
Right.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's super hard, I think, with
Yeah. No,
simple
definitely.
stuff,
Writing simple melodies that are memorable and easy to sing along with. And I mean, you would think they'd have all been used up.
And really, I mean, honestly, you would, and maybe they
Yeah.
have, but
Who knows? But no, I just love it. I love it. One other thing that I want to talk about before we go, that I never fully understood, which I think you can tell from the way I asked the question, that I never really fully understood exactly how interactive the ukulele is in the game.
mm,
For some reason, I missed that. And those who have watched me game know that I'm not always the best at reading the directions, so that might be why I missed it. But you can. He goes into great detail in the episode about how you can play in any key, any diminished, augmented. You can't do 7th chords, but you can do triads of all shapes, all 4 triads. Diminished, minor, major, augmented, and then in any key. So you can play any song you want using the controller. They were able to map and make this fully interactive ukulele with a controller. So it's very cool. But also, aside from that, you do use the ukulele in gameplay. So you're like, it's one of your superpowers. So you'll play a series of 4 chords, and that will make something happen. Like if you want to find a bird, since there's no R in music, right? We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's it. That's all we get.
right.
You play the chords B, A, A, D, bod, instead of bird. For dog, you play D, A, A, G. If you need a dog, if you want a dog to show up so that you can soul jump into the dog, D, A, A, G, dog. And then it's like if you want to change the time of day, you do cafe for morning. And I can't remember the others off the top of my head, but everything spells something really clever, which is adorable. And it helps you to remember. So you're like, oh yeah, I just spell bird. You know, you
Right.
don't have to
Right.
remember this weird thing. So the ukulele part also is just, there's just so many cool creative things in here. And, you know, in a lot of ways, it's kind of a shame it came out, that any game other than Tears of the Kingdom came out this year, because, you know, people are so singularly focused on that. And I'm not saying that Tchia is better than Tears of the Kingdom, but I just, you know, in a different year, that could be game of the year. You know what I mean? Like, it's that, I think, creative with gameplay mechanics that many of us have been doing for 20 years now. You know what I mean? So that I found really cool. But
Yeah.
so that's my ringing endorsement for Tchia. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to have this turn into like my review of the game, but it did, and you know,
That's
so
fun
much
when
of that. Yeah,
that's
go
fun
ahead.
when something's that good that it's just like makes you excited to talk
Yeah,
about it. Doesn't
yeah,
matter that it sounds like a commercial.
right. We definitely are not getting paid
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like they're they just did a really good thing, and John Roberts' music is a huge part of that. And you know, he has such a good relationship with that studio. He's worked for them for a while,
Hmm.
and it's just all a wonderful, wonderful thing they did. Huge, wonderful accomplishment in so many ways. So kudos to that whole team and John Roberts especially. And I look forward to sharing the episode with everybody
Hmm.
on Friday, later in the day, as you know, I will be not home from work.
Right.
Um, and might be able to schedule things tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see how all that plays out. But it might not be till afternoon Minneapolis time on Friday.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about the episode, Sam?
I don't think so. Yeah, I
All
think
right.
we that's a good preview. It's long, lots of music. Check it out.
Lots of music. Yeah, it's like 90 minutes this episode. But, you know, I mean, we didn't even talk about. I seriously didn't even get to all my questions, but c'est la
Yeah.
vie. So, all right,
He'll
everybody.
be on
Find
again.
us. He'll definitely be on again. I didn't even talk about the beach sides, which I loved that play on words. Because, of course, normally an album has B-sides.
Right.
This is the beach sides.
Right.
They wanted to call it Tchia and Chill. But the beach sides, just super briefly, very cool. You can check it out on Bandcamp. It's a much shorter release, but he basically loved the sound design of the game so much that he wanted to incorporate with the music, because as we all know as gamers, that's normally how we're hearing all the music anyway, is
Yeah.
with the sound design of the game. So he puts in a lot of, you know, birds and just Foley from the world, which is really pleasant. So that's the beach sides, and we talk about that too. But that's all I got. Find us on Discord. That link in the show notes. And then subscribe to this channel, please. And we'll be back next Wednesday at 3 Central, talking about whoever the hell next week's guest is. I'd have to look
Yeah.
at the calendar.
Somebody good, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's fabulous. So, all right, we'll see you